Welcome to this video. Today a real special topic, namely I now have a satin film on my BMW M5. The whole thing in matte, and I still have an old piece left over. I took a bit more from the wrapper, and I just want to conduct a few small experiments for you and for myself. Therefore, part 1. In this video I want to introduce you a bit to the topic. Film is naturally a bit more sensitive than paint. Everything has its advantages and disadvantages. The big disadvantage of film is that it is very soft, and the surface is just not as hard as clear coat, or even as a matte finish. That's why they are also a bit more sensitive. And I want to try out a few things here with you. I currently have the piece on my table still covered with film. I want to see if this film is negatively affected in its appearance or feel by various products. And that's why. Today we're starting with something very relaxed. And we're starting with sealing. Specifically with a liquid wax, a hard wax, and then also a spray wax. I brought 3 examples with me which we'll pick out from the inventory back here. I want to use the first video to brainstorm some ideas with you, and you should write your suggestions below. What should I try out on this black or matte finish film? For example, I would also like to test the Doctor. Try out Wax Intensive Cleaner. I would also like to try an alkaline pre-cleaner like the Santa Claus First. Apply it here, and just let it sit here for a few minutes to see if it affects such a film. These are all things I wanted to try out. Today we'll start with the sealants, with the appearance, because they definitely won't destroy anything here. But I believe they will significantly change the appearance. But I'm looking forward to your ideas. What should I try out? I can also polish a piece here if you like. I don't have a huge area here, but if it comes down to it, I can get another piece of film of that close up. But I just don't want to test it on the BMW. That's why I got each piece separately. So I'm looking forward to your ideas. Feel free to write it down below. What should I test on this film? Maybe you also have a wrapped vehicle, and you say, I've always wondered, can I do that? Can I use a magic sponge on this with a scrub pad on matte satin film? So we can definitely test something like that. That's why I need your ideas, I need your requests, and then I will categorize them into different sections. Into cleaning tools, cleaners, and so on, stress tests. And then I will definitely present a few videos on that here for you. And then you'll also know if you have a wrapped vehicle, what you should pay special attention to. And now let's get started. We begin with a hard wax, a liquid wax, and a spray wax. What happens when we apply this to the surface? Let's go enjoy. So the whole thing for you in time lapse. You can also see the condition beforehand here again. Light scratches, the wrap is already there, but that doesn't hinder our test. I have divided the whole thing into 3 parts here, and I have chosen the Fuser Coat, the Turbo 6, and the synthetic spray wax. And I can certainly try it with other products, but I won't make an XXL test series out of it here. But if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Everything applied one after the other, all the drying times observed. And here too, the Turbo 6. And I can tell you one thing, everything was absolutely easy to work with. No streaks, no clouding, even after polishing. It was not an issue. There were absolutely no problems here on this satin finish and on this matte film. So everything was really, really easy to work with. Then, as I said, all the drying times were completely adhered to here as well, no? And everything was polished afterwards. And that actually worked really well. And you can also share your experiences, whether you've ever applied something to the headlights on your vehicle at home, which product, and whether it worked well or not. In my case, everything went smoothly, and now let's take a look at the results. Let's go. And let's take a look at what's happening here. Oops, that was the mistake, this way around. So I think you can already clearly see the differences, and you can make it very visible with this. So you can already see the following. Filmed from above, you can clearly see all 3 products, both the Fuser Coat, the Turbo 6, and the synthetic spray wax, have visually changed the surface, but not completely identically. And if we now take a look from a bit of a distance, I would say the Turbo 6 and the Fuser Coat have the strongest color enhancement. I also find them quite similar. I couldn't really determine a big difference here in terms of color enhancement, but in contrast to the synthetic spray wax, you can see here they have a really strong color enhancement. And the synthetic spray wax only has a slight color enhancement. Now you can decide for yourself whether this is good or bad for your vehicle, because you can also want something like this intentionally on the surface. This doesn't mean that it doesn't work, but I recommend thinking about it beforehand or testing it on your film first. I'm not saying it's an absolute no-go. But I'm also not saying that everyone should definitely try it out, because you see what happens. It really changes the surface in the long term and also visually. Very, very strongly. Let's move to the side here. So you can get a bit of an impression of how strongly this whole thing is influenced. So very, very intense. Well, and with that, we've already completed our first experiment. And you see what happens. Whether this is good or bad, you have to decide for your vehicle. Since we have paint protection products, I naturally wanted to test the repellent behavior here as well. And you see with all three, it really works absolutely. Fantastic. You can also clearly see where the film is not sealed. Or original, we also have a certain repellent behavior there, but significantly worse here on such a still very clean surface. But for the code, turbo sakes, everything beats like crazy. So very, very good. But there's a clear difference here compared to the unsealed film. So we can definitely already note that. Matte film can definitely also beat excellently with the paint sealant. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about this topic, then put them in the comments below. And I'm looking forward to your suggestions. What should I test on this piece of film? What do you want to see? We can also break it, but I have to make sure that I can do as many experiments on it as possible. That's why your suggestions should go below. I need your feedback. What do you want to see? What? Should we put the film through? What can we risk? And what have you always wanted to know, but never dared to test in your own vehicle? Now we have the opportunity here, so please give your feedback on this. Thank you very much. See you next time. You're Sebastian. Hey guys.